So here we are at the Pachas, the Shisha Experience Live, and we are coming in right now. We've got a great crowd. There is Mehdi, hey, with the Shisha, and he's going to come in a second. We've got Conrad there from Grown Folk Grooves, and we've got some guests over here. We've got James from the Fulham Back Centre, our local business. We've got some actors here. Say your name.
Hello, Jason Wing, nice to meet you.
And Alex.
Alexander Fodor, legendary film director.
Clive Greenwood, actor and writer.
Ian Gray, magician.
Simon Welsh, quantum poet.
Lisa Gorgin.
Marilyn Wisbey, author of Gangster's Mark, daughter of great train robber Tommy Wisbey.
Jonathan Hansler, social dropout.
James McLean, musician.
Hi guys, it's Chris Day.
And this is the Shisha Experience Live! Woo! And this is Mehdi bringing in the Shisha. So, Mehdi, this is the Shisha Experience Live, so tell us a little bit about the Shisha.
Well, the Shisha, this is basically the Shisha, and what we have here is caramelized fruits, and it's nicotine free actually. So you get the smoking experience without harming yourself. This is how I call it. Right now I'm just starting it up right now so that everyone can enjoy it without the fuss.
Lovely. And everybody, you've got a little mouthpiece there.
We have indeed,
A little
yes.
mouthpiece at the ready. Everyone has their own one that wants to try it.
So who's first?
Who wants to be first?
Ladies first. We need to go with ladies first. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Here's... Alright, do you need to put your
Hold
mouthpiece
on.
in? Okay.
Leave it, Jason.
Oh, right, okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Cheers.
Look, we're getting a double filming thing going on here.
Yeah. I'm filming a camera woman. Cool.
That's cool.
Does anyone want some of this, or shall I?
So that's going to get passed around.
What's it like? Are you getting a hit out of it or what?
Yeah, sort of like. Oof. Yeah, it's got a bit of a hit to it. Yeah. Now I know why those old men down the Edgware Road all look so chilled out. You know what I mean? I thought it was because they was all rich. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
You got to take
Marilyn wants to have a go, so you take your mouthpiece
Yeah, I'll take
out of
my bit
there.
out and Marilyn put hers in. Yeah.
Marilyn, you got your mouthpiece at the ready. There we go, you pop that in there.
You ain't done that before.
Dad, it's only Shisha. It's not.
It's not
Have a
hashish.
drink.
It's just a shisha.
Now you know where Jimi Hendrix got his inspiration from.
Well, let's pass that round while we introduce our first guest. This is James McLean, and he's going to kick us off with a lovely song. Go for it, James!
Okay. We'll grab the door and close it. See, I gave you time and hope you change your mind. The faster that you notice, our whole world's cave. We're pulled under, baby. And you can see that we're sinking. For I'm no one for giving it on. 'Cause I need love more than you know. Take my heart, baby. Don't play with my soul. When we flow, I pray my soul can still stand the weight of a waterfall. started. Our future's set in stone. Nobody's plans but our own. They were taken and forgotten. This space is colder now. Our fires have died somehow. And you can see that we're sinking. For I'm no one forgiving it, no. 'Cause I need love, yeah. More than you know. Take my heart, baby, but don't play with my soul. But when we fall, I pray my soul can still stand the weight of a waterfall. The weight of a waterfall. Oh, the waves are turned over. We'll be fine when we get sober. Oh, the waves are turned over. We'll be fine when we get sober. Yeah, the waves are turned over. We'll be fine when we get sober. Yeah, the waves.
That is James McLean. Thank you, James. And we'll be having a few numbers from him tonight, another couple from him. And we're going to go into our first guest, Marilyn Wisbey. She's our author on the show today. And she's written the book, Gangster's Mole. If Lisa just wants to hold up the book there. That is it. And Marilyn, we want to hear about you and why did you write this book and what was it like growing up in the world of gangsters?
Well, bearing in mind, my godfather was Freddie Foreman, who was connected to the craze, you know, with the wrapping up of somebody's body, and my father, Tommy Wisbey, was an ex-great train robber. Then I ended up with Mad Frankie Fraser. Home Office said he was the most dangerous man. No, he's gone that way. Right now. He was the most dangerous man. The Home Office said he was the most dangerous man in the prison system in the 70s and everything. Oh, sorry. And the reason why I wrote the book was because I've got Frank Fraser's first book published with Little Browns, and then after a little while, Frank said to the editor, she's got a story and a half, you got to take her book on. And she said, send me 12 bullets. And I said, you mean live ones or used ones? So I didn't realise that it was part of the terminology connected to the, you know, literary side of things.
You meant bullet points?
Yes. So I sent her 24 and she went, oh my God. She said, I must, yes, come along, we'll do a deal, contract, whatsoever. And then the rest was history. But anyway, getting back to, you know, growing up, 9 years of age, my father, who's still alive now, he's got a lovely book out called Wrong Side of the Tracks. Last month it came out, and I remember not being 9 years of age, that he said to my mum, take the girls down, Laysdown. Well, Laysdown was like, it's a Cockney place for working class people that have a caravan or chalet. And that was August the 8th. Strangely enough, it's, you know, a few days' time, the 51st anniversary, 1963. And coming from working class, we went down there, and he didn't have no money. He sent my mum and I and my sister £20. he said, I'll see you later after the bank holiday, Monday, and that was it. 1 minute we was eating sausage, chips and beans, and on the Tuesday after the bank holiday we was having fillet of steak, prawn cocktails. I had 6 helter-skelter rides, 2 nurses' outfits, and a long lays down beach.
What's the nurses' outfits all about?
Well, that'd be my next book. And then it carried on from there. But hopefully people will buy my book. I will be writing another one after my father's had a year out, because I don't want to compete with him, you know. My book will be called The Right Side of the Tracks.
Hey.
But the right side is the worst side.
So what part of the East End did you grow up in?
Well, that's a fallacy about East End. The majority, if you read through the archives of social history books connected with crime, the main players of London came from South London. The East End, I don't know about that, I think a little bit political, and but the main players came from South London, trust me, they did. And
Is that where the Crays were from then, the South?
no, they was from the East.
Ah, right.
The Crays, God bless them, they done this and that against their own, but how they've become legends, it's beyond a joke. But then, who am I to judge? But there's a lot of higher players, even from West London and South West London, that have never been, in the RI clinic. But having said that, God bless them, and that's it.
So why did you want to write this book in the first place? What compelled you to actually tell your side of the story?
Well, growing up amongst South London working class, not bully boys, they wouldn't mug old ladies, but proper thieves. Now, it's this debate on, you get sentenced and you should pay for it, yes. But there's far worse crimes going on today that, in my opinion, they should have got 30 years. But again, it's the government, the banksters. I call them banksters. They're legalised banksters, I mean, we're suffering a lot in this country, and it's about time people should start saying this is out of order, because the money my dad and them robbed, as I've said to many journalists, question where that money was going. Unused notes, not traceable. Whose pockets was it going into in the first place? The robbers got there first before Scottish hurricane, whatever you say it, and the southern bit, the Parliament. So question mark still, and I believe it. I think it still goes on today. Simply, as I said on a radio station, maybe my dad should have wore a pinstripe suit instead of balaclava.
Thank you, Marilyn. And we're actually going to have a little side of your life now with your book. This is Gangster's Mom. We've got the wonderful Lisa Gorgin here, who is going to bring to life part of your book. So if I could ask the lovely Simon Welsh, could we have your assistance here in holding the microphone so Lisa can get into character?
Hello, I'm about to read the introduction to Marilyn's book. Okay. When you come home after a visit to the abortion clinic, you don't need a raid from the drug squad. But that's exactly what I got on June the 8th, 1988. It was a really beautiful day outside our flat. The sun was shining and everybody was out on the streets eating ice cream. I felt very hot and very tired. I said to my mum, I think I'm going to have a lie down. And she said, yeah, I think I'll have one too. We're like that, just like sisters. Front buzzer went 15 minutes later. We were all living in Duncan Street in Islington, in a little 2-bedroom flat that I had on the 4th floor. Mum and I were sharing a room, and my boy Jonathan had his own. Tom, my father, slept on the sofa when he was there. Mum and Dad had just got back from America and they were waiting for their tenants to move out of their place. My mother didn't hear anyone, but I heard the tremendous bang on the door. Who is it? I shouted. Police! Open up! I quickly jumped up, saying to Mum, what the hell are they here for? Have we got anything here? Meaning like Tom. Mum was always buying bits and pieces and wasn't always too careful of the pedigree, but she said, no, not that I know of, so let them in. I opened the door carefully and quickly, and I said, wait a minute, I hope you've got a search warrant. Then up came a piece of paper, which was shoved in my face, and in walked about 8 plainclothes police with all the usual rabbit that they always have, you know. They never gave us a chance. My mother asked them what they were looking for, and they said, you know, the usual, stolen jewellery. She asked them if they wanted a cup of tea, and I suddenly realised that I had half a gram of coke in my handbag from the previous night. I always bought a bit when I was going to the club, you know, always on a night out. I thought, oh my God, no, and I started shaking. I couldn't stop. It's funny, when you're innocent, you always feel guilty. It's as if your mind is always saying to you, you are guilty. Everything seems worse than it really is at the time. In all the confusion, I just had time to take the wrapper coat out of my bag, and I heard Mum say to the police, look, there's only my handbags and all my husband's suits in the bedroom. I asked if I could go to the toilet, and I had a policeman wait outside. Thank God there was no policewoman, or she would have had me keep the door open. I got rid of the wrap down the pan and felt like a school kid when you've taken the top layer off the box of chocolates and eaten all the nice ones. Then I was followed into the living room. God, it's such a humiliation watching complete strangers ransacking your own. I suppose as police go, they weren't that bad. I think 9 times out of 10 they're more frightened of you, if the truth be known. Then after that, they drank their tea and the bombshell was dropped. Martin, we've found it! Now there's me thinking they wouldn't make a big fuss over a small amount of White Charlie, and I wondered if I'd left a gram or 2 in some old handbag. Oh, surely not all this fuss, Marilyn, I thought. I knew I should have left that. I knew I should have let that Hansler Gannet have the last few lines from the previous night. As I stood next to me mum, there it was. 1 kilo of the stuff, wrapped in brown paper. You know, you're in very serious trouble, said DS Martin Gill. You'll get 15 years for this. And with that, we were asked to wait. Him and his colleagues had smiles on their faces, as if they'd backed an 100-to-1 winner at Epsom on a derby day. Where's your father? They asked. As I went to dial his number, my hand was pushed away.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And that is the excerpt from Gangsters Mo. And that is available on Amazon, isn't it?
Yes, it's available on Amazon. And I'll let the tax man deal with it.
So that's great that we had that, but we're going to stick with Lisa right now, so hold on to the mic, Lisa. So Lisa is our wonderful actress who's come along this evening to read the excerpt from Marilyn's book. And Lisa, tell us what you've been up to lately. You've been in a TV show recently which has had a bit of a courtroom angle about it, so tell us all about that.
Last year it was called The Trial, and I played Kim Taupo, Gillian Taupo's sister, played Copper. But I've recently finished doing a play called Bluebird that's written by Simon Stevens, who wrote Curious Incident Dog of the Night Time. And I played a nutter in that actually. Her name was Janine Williams. And it was fun. It was at the Tab Market for just over a month and finished a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And when did you start getting into acting?
A couple of years ago. No, quite a few years ago. I've been doing it for about 15 years now. Yeah.
And what's been your most challenging role to date?
Actually, in Bluebird, I understudied the lead role of Claire McLean, and when I was offered it, I said, no, I can't do it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. And the director was like, no, you can do it, I wouldn't have given it to you if you couldn't do it. Step out your box, and I did. And I can't say I enjoyed playing it, but afterwards I was like, I did it, and it was yeah, that was probably the most challenging role. She's on stage for 50 minutes in Act 2. It's just basically her and we're all set in a taxi in the cabin, so it's just them two for like 50 minutes in Act 2, and it's quite full on.
How do you prepare for a role like that?
Oh my god, actually, with a lot of work. I remember I had quite a few friends in on one particular night, and they were like, oh, let's meet up before and we'll go for dinner and all that, and I was like, no, there's no way. I literally had to start from the moment I woke up. No fun and games all day. It's just quite, it was quite a full-on role.
So you're quite method, as they say.
I do try. For certain roles, anyway. But that role, definitely. I couldn't just, meet my friends, go hello before, and then go on stage. No, there was a lot of prep involved. A lot of prep. Yeah.
And you started off in doing musical theatre. Tell us a few of your musical theatre roles.
Oh god, I've done quite a few shows. Footloose, Rocky Horror Show, Fame, Grease. They're the ones I started off doing, the cheesy ones. Yeah.
Have you got any more musical theatre on the cards? Would you like to do that again?
No, I mean, I kind of quit that about a year and a half ago just to concentrate on doing the more straighter side of things. So not at the moment. No, I've not auditioned for musical theatre. Yeah, it's about a year and a half now. So just trying to concentrate on the more straighter side of things. I've just said that.
And tell me, if there's a particular director that you'd love to work with, who would that be?
Spielberg, of course.
And your leading man? Who would be your leading man?
George Clooney. Yeah.
Well, that brings us on. Thank you very much, Lisa, to our leading man of tonight. We're going to move over to Jonathan Hansler.
Hello.
And Jonathan Hansler is going to read an excerpt from Tommy's book. Now, you might have seen that Tommy was going to be here on the sofa with us tonight, but unfortunately, he is 85 years old, and and he's not able to be with us tonight. But we still wanted to give a chance to show the book, read the book. So just hold it up for us, Johnny. So that is Wrong Side of the Tracks, and he's just going to read an excerpt from it. So off you go, Jonathan.
Yeah. In my corner was Roger Corddry, Bobby Welsh, and the other man with no name but not Clint Eastwood. I had an old friend, reliable villain, Jimmy Hussey, with me, and Buster came with Roy James, Bruce Reynolds, Charlie Wilson, Gordon Goody, and two more Clint Eastwoods. Like our man, there was certainly no cowboys. The last man to arrive was Jimmy White, and what an entrance he made. It reminded me of a pocket-sized Noel Coward in his checked sports coat, and the loudest trousers I've ever seen. Even Ray Charles would have blinked. To top off the old look, he carried a yappy little Pekingese dog under his arm. I must admit that I wondered what this role in this could ever be. And it was only later that I found out that he was part of an elite band of criminals that specialised in locks. He was army trained and had been a full-time quartermaster. Not only that, but he was also a thorn in the side of our favourite policeman, Tommy Butler. 10 years earlier, Butler had staked out his house after a robbery he was convinced Jim had staged. Jim jumped out the window and escaped, leaving Butler with egg on his face, which later prompted Butler to raise his ugly head again to claim his revenge. It was decided there that the two firms should become one, and it was left to Gordon Goody to stand up and reveal the initial plan as to how we would hold up the train. He told us that the Royal Mail train from Glasgow to Euston would be carrying up to £1 million. The atmosphere in the room was unforgettable. There was silence as it began to sink in, but then people began muttering, gradually getting louder and louder, ending in a free-for-all, with everyone trying to have their say and raise their questions and doubts at the top of their voices. All the commotion sounded like a diesel train leaving a station, heading for open country. I loved it. Eventually, Gordon managed to quiet everyone down. My first question to him was that as this was the Royal Mail, how many security men would be aboard? Gordon assured us that this was why he'd asked for extra men and that the numbers added up. He assured us that they had done their homework and that his informant was very reliable. The mystery man was to become known as the Ulster Man. He was a friend and contact of Gordon's, and they only ever met to discuss business, to my knowledge. I do remember Buster saying he met him once, but nobody could be sure of his true identity yet. As the details began to sink in and all the members of the firm had their say, it was obvious to me that this was a goer and that the prize at the end would be the biggest of my life. One way or another, pretty much everyone in the room was a known villain, i.e. they were known to the police. We didn't have a well-oiled publicity machine to thrust our faces in the public eye like one or two so-called villains of today. In those days, there was only one or two faces who coveted the limelight, but we preferred to work in private. They threw up the dilemma of how we would avoid the spotlight once we carried out the job, since the old Bill would be knocking down the doors of anyone they thought capable of pulling off such a robbery. However, with the enormous prize, it was worth the risk, especially given the information we had in place, and there seemed only one way to look at it, and the room echoed with two words: fuck it. Over the next few months, we began holding regular meetings at Nell Gwyn House to plan the robbery. It was a team effort, with us all each reporting in with any new information or ideas. It was all very unlike some of the films about robberies where the meetings take place around a table with a top man projecting pictures into the wall, drawing in cars and buildings and sketching routes with marker pens. Our meetings were far more considered than that. And we were a team, and every one of us had a particular role to play. Now, I'm sorry to tell you that the closest thing we had to the Italian job's Mr. Big was Jimmy White, and we had no need for elaborate diagrams, so Andy Gray would never have got in on the action. Now, we'd all taken various roles according to our abilities. Roy was in charge of transport, Jimmy would sort out the provisions, and me and Roger would find a perfect spot to stop the train. Everyone also took a turn at disguising themselves as railway workers to check out the layout of the train we were going to stop. Now, while we were looking for the best place to stop, the train between Glasgow and Euston, me and Roger, posed as fishermen. As much of the route north of London could be seen from the riverbank. We stopped off at many different spots along the way to suss out the landscape. I don't think I will ever make an angler, and I can't recall ever bringing any fresh fish home to tea. But it didn't matter. There were bigger fish to fry. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan Hansler. So let's have a little chat with Jonathan now, who is a wonderful actor.
Oh, stop it. 10 quid back, please. 10 quid back. Yeah.
So, Jonathan, you've just recently finished quite an interesting play that you co-wrote with another one of our guests over there,
Yeah.
Clive, Greenwood. So tell us about your play that's actually emulating one of your heroes.
Well, yeah, Peter Cook. It was on at the Comedy Museum in February this year, and it was a little bit of a hit. And what was really remarkable was not the play itself, actually. What was really remarkable about the play is we had two audience visitors who came along to see it.
Just two?
No, we had a few more than that, obviously. But there were two particular audience visitors that were really key. And I remember coming out of a matinee, and there was this guy just sat there, and I thought he was something to do with Private Eye. Until I said, who are you? Because I'm sure I know you. And he said, I'm John Bassett. And I said, John Bassett. And he said, I'm the guy that put The Fringe together. I put Dudley Moore, Peter Cook, Jonathan Miller, all together.
They've done the great train robbery.
Yeah, he certainly did. Yes, it continues to baffle the British police, and with me in the studio. Anyway, no, but yeah. So this was incredible, because he was sat there and he'd come to see the show, so I'd never been so shit scared in my life, terrified. And we did the show, and he amazingly absolutely loved it. So Clive and I were absolutely knocked out. It was extraordinary. And then the other thing, I'll keep it short. We had Joe McGrath. Now, to anyone who knows who Joe McGrath is, he was the guy who directed not only but also he directed Oh God, he directed Rising Damp the movie. He was but he was like key in the.
He also did Dudley Moore's solo film, which was 30 Years a Dangerous Age,
Yeah,
Cynthia
directed
as well.
Directed that in the '60s. I think he might. I think he might have done. I'm not sure, but he was. You know, he came in to see it, and he said at the end, "I'd love to be part of this. I'd like to actually put my name to this if I can." And we were like sat there going, "This is the most incredible thing." So yeah, we're really pleased about that. That was a really, I mean, you know, when you've written something that's been somebody else has produced and it's been in nearly the West End, and you know you played your idol, your dream role, which is Peter Cook, then you know it's a hell of an achievement. So I'm very proud of it. Yeah.
And you're working on a film script right now.
Well, I've got a few little things in a part. I've just really weirdly done a short film with Lionel Blair, playing a deep South evangelist preacher. So make of that what you will. He couldn't make anything of it. He turned up going, I don't know what this is, but my son quite likes it. So yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
And what other roles have you? Because you're a comic, you've done sketch shows.
Yeah.
What for you, when in terms of acting, that you really like to get your teeth into?
Oh, I love variety. You know, I love playing many people. I mean, it's Peter Sellers and Alec Guinness are my heroes because they have that wonderful ability of suddenly being able to be somebody else. And I just think, I just love that. I love that to be able to spin on a sixpence. And that, I suppose, also I cherish comedy. Comedy is the most important thing to me. I feel that deeply in my heart that comedy is not made enough of, and comedy is the hardest thing to do. So why did Peter Sellers never win an Oscar? I don't know why. You know, it's kind of weird, but that's just one of those things. So yeah, that I'm doing a tour of Round the Horn, which, as anyone will know, is the '60s classic with Kenneth Williams. I'm playing Hugh Paddock, Kenneth Horne, and Betty Marsden, absolutely, Betty Marsden, and we're recreating that in the winter. No, that part passed me, but I should be, perhaps, yes.
That will be a challenge.
Yes, it will. So yeah, that's happening, and yeah, I'm just available. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm available in the sense of being I'm a whore, corporate whore, just a whore.
Where is Round the Horn? Where is Round the Horn going to be touring?
Anywhere they'll pay us. That would be really good. But yeah, anywhere. And it's going to some really nice places like Windsor, Theatre Royal Windsor. It's going to Clwyd, which is Wales. So I don't know if anyone's in Wales. It's going all the way around. It's and all sorts of places. But I must stop now because there are lots of people here, and I'm sure you want to introduce them as well.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you.
Now, Johnny actually mentioned there Kenneth Williams, and so we're going to move our way over to Clive over here, because you're actually going to be playing Kenneth Williams in an upcoming performance play tour. Tell us more.
I am indeed, yes. The play is written by Terry Johnson, and it's called Camping Cleo, Emmanuel and Dick. It was premiered at the National Theatre in 1997, and it's being put on in a theatre in Broadstairs. It's actually put on by a guy who I'd like to give a plug to. He's actually an amazing guy called Michael Friend Productions, and he initially worked for the British Council, and he set up Michael Friend Productions in 1991, and he's run rep seasons in the old traditional style, completely unsubsidised, and we literally meet, rehearse and put on the show in a week. And it's going to a theatre in Broadstairs, which is called the Sarah Thorne Theatre. And he also does a lot of shows at St Lawrence, which is Shaw Corner, Bernard Shaw's house. And he's been putting on the shows there for many years. He's practically, in fact, produced nearly every show every play that Bernard Shaw wrote. But Camping Cleo, Emmanuel and Dick, it looks at the relationship between Sid James, Kenneth Williams and Barbara Windsor. And what the metaphor they've used, it starts in 1965 with Carry On Cleo, and at that point Carry On is really at its height, and they've spent quite a bit of money on this. They've stopped filming Cleopatra over at Pinewood, and all the costumes and the sets are still there, so Peter Rogers very quickly decides to do Carry On Cleo with Sid as Mark Antony, And Kenneth Williams, of course, yes, as Julius Caesar, yes, with the famous, with the famous line, infamy, infamy, they've all got it in for me. No, stop messing about, don't be like that, no, no. And it moves on from there to Cleo, which is the second act, and then on to Carry On Dick, and finally Carry On Emmanuel. And the set is Sid's caravan, and this was actually a true story. Sid managed to get himself, he was the only one of the Carry On stars who got himself a caravan. And Kenneth Williams, in fact, my first line, he has to come out and say, I am absolutely outraged about this, let me tell you, yes. No, it's absolutely disgusting, he takes the biscuit, this does. Yes, and I'm not actually talking about your rich tea either. No, I'm not talking about your plain old custard cream, no. I'm talking about the full Garibaldi, yes. So he's very annoyed that Sid has got the caravan. And over the 3 acts, it brings in their relationship, Sid's affair, of course, with Barbara Windsor, which he had, and the set actually deteriorates. The caravan gets tattier and tattier as the carry-ons, in Terry Johnson's opinion, become more and more tatty, really. And sadly, we lose some of the cast, of course. Sid, of course, who dies on stage doing the mating game as well. Charles Hawtrey, of course, it's mentioned, of course, he comes out of it because by the end of it, Peter Rogers couldn't work around his drinking. And the final scene, of course, is Carry On Emmanuel, which one of the few people from that is Kenneth Williams in it. Barbara Windsor declines to be in it. But as I say, we're travelling down to Broadstairs tomorrow, and Keith Myers, who's directing it, we're working in the old-fashioned style of weekly rep. So we are actually going to be rehearsing it in a week, and we literally open at the end of next week. And it's at the Sarah Thorne Theatre down in Broadstairs, so you can Google that. Also Google Michael Friend Productions. But Johnny's brought in the Museum of Comedy, which is an amazing resource. It's incredible. Run by Martin Witt. It's an amazing collection of stuff. It's got a lot of Tommy Cooper's props there as well. And we are hoping as well that it will transfer to the Museum of Comedy.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank
Woo!
you.
I think now is the perfect time to have a little song again from James McLean. So we're just going to get the mic reset up there. How's everybody doing? Woo! That's our guests that are here watching the show tonight. Yay!
So this song is called Brighter Light. Set off on a summer's drive, hoping to find a road to set me right. You see, I've been struggling where to go, 'cause I've been living this life with nothing to show. I'll draw a line for Peter Trace, a short plan for a future I can face, 'cause I wanna move higher. But losing sight of who I am and my beliefs and for all that I stand and the treasures I desire. But don't wait up for me, 'cause I am exactly where I wanna be. I am exactly where I need to be. I'm waiting for some brighter light to chase. But those dream of gold, no big paycheck. My friends are asking if I've caught up yet. I've got bigger things in mind, and I've been working on my appetite. If I die before a moment when the devil's coming and sees my soul, before I'm burning in the fire, Will I get the chance to look at life with eyes that know that I've lived it right and used my time? But don't wait on for me, 'cause I am exactly where I wanna be. I am exactly where I need to be. I'm waiting for some brighter light. Won't you change it? Don't you ever wish for something more than life than this thing? Don't you ever think there's something more? So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
And that is James McLean, and now we're going to have a little chat with James. So James,
Hold on, I'll take this.
pop that down a second. There we go, there we go. So we can see your lovely face properly. And no, girls, he's not available. I did ask him earlier, he's not single. So James, tell us, when did you first pick up your guitar?
I first started playing when I was 11. My brother was having guitar lessons and he decided not to play it anymore, so I thought I should take over. The guy was coming around our house anyway, so it's quite easy, so that's the reason why I started. Pretty uninspirational, but yeah. No, I started because I really wanted to express my emotions and get it out to the world.
At 11 years old?
At 11 years old, I had a lot of emotion.
And we were talking earlier, and when you were at school, you actually were in a band, and like you see this in some of the films, and like School of Rock, Kid Rock, that kind of thing. And when I was in school, there was no such thing as a band. I don't know whether it's a new thing these days, but it was punk ska, punky.
Sort of, yeah, pop punk. I think sort of Blink 182-ish, a bit emo-ish, because that was quite cool back then. I say back then.
Back then, you're only 25.
10 years ago or something. But yeah, we were called Tragedies of Four. I don't really know. Tragedies of Four ... I don't really know how the name came about, but we thought it was pretty cool.
And you wrote all your own music, or did you just cover stuff back then?
We wrote an album. We actually got it recorded semi-professionally, quite professionally. There's a guy who's starting up his studio, so he gave us quite a cheap rate, and we were only 16 as well, so we couldn't really afford a proper recording. But we recorded an album. We did quite a few gigs. This was in Toulouse, by the way. We lived in Toulouse.
Oh, ooh la la!
Ooh la la! I don't really speak French very well. And yeah.
But at 16, you sort of come to the end of your school time, but you didn't carry on?
We kept going until, because we went on to study. It was a sort of the sixth form school, so we went on till 17, 18, but it sort of died out when the drummer moved to Spain, so that meant we couldn't play with the drummer until he came and flew over. Yeah.
But now you found your style and you're now in the studio yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I found a couple of producers I'm working with. I'm hoping to release my first EP at the end of January, beginning of February time. Some of these songs should be on it. I still haven't decided what it's called yet.
Well, we're getting a little sneak preview here. So this is an exclusive, guys.
Exclusive.
And we'll be having one more song from James at the end of the show. So thank you very much, James.
No worries, thank you.
We're going to now move on to a little bit of magic. Ooh! With the lovely Ian.
Oh.
So,
Ian, can you turn my bank account from 40 grand to 200 million?
I'll try. Let's do a little bit of a card. Would you like to help me with the card trick?
Yeah.
Will that be cool? Yeah? Okay. Right. I'm going to just stand up. Is that okay for you?
Yep.
Right.
Skimp members.
What?
No.
You're right.
Skimp members club.
Pick a card for me, young lady. Any card.
Right, we'll go around there.
Show everybody. Yeah, show everybody.
Without you seeing.
No, it's all right. It's not that kind of trick. Got it? Happy with it?
What was it? Shirt?
That's all right. Okay, so we've got the 9, what is it? The 9 of hearts. What we're going to do, okay, is, let me write your name on there for me.
What there?
Anywhere, big letters. Perfect. That's cool. Lovely. Oh, Margaret Thatcher.
Can we verify that, please? There we go.
There are Margaret Thatcher on the 9 of hearts. She's king of comedy.
If she only had a heart.
She had a heart. Right, okay, well.
Yes, hearts.
Yeah, oh, very good. You see. Right, what I want you to do with this card, okay, is put it between your teeth. Put it in your teeth, put it in your mouth.
Put it in my mouth?
Yeah, hold it in your teeth. Just put it in your teeth and close your mouth. That's it. Right. So I'm going to take the next card in the deck. Okay. Here we go. Do you want to take the photograph? Right. Here we go. So I've got the 9 of diamonds here, and I'm going to write my name on the 9 of diamonds right here. Okay. Here we go. So my name is Magic Ian. The reason it's called Magic Ian is because it's got magician. Hey. And my name is actually Ian. It's not Dave. Right, so Magic Ian. I fold up here and put it in my mouth like this. Okay. So I got a card, you got a card. You ready? Watch me, look at my eyes, click my fingers like this. Take your card out.